Hi also, it's a bustling day in the village this morning, 7:30 a.m. Everybody's getting up for work and school. I thought I'd come and bring you for a little walk out in the village where I talk about an article that I just read actually in The Nation. 8,000 businesses closed in 2025 so far, maybe even more since the publication of the article. They related it to AI, the rise in AI, which is something that we've definitely discussed on this channel. For those that have been following along, you know that I'm a bit of a prepper. I'm not a great prepper. I'd say like I'm a beginner to intermediate prepper. And certainly the prepping that we plan to do on our house, it's about halfway there. You know, we're filtering our own water. We haven't got our solar in yet, but we're pretty self-sustainable. The villagers here are naturally self-sustainable because they have to. They have to be. Cap on! They have to be self-sustainable here, guys. There's no other choice. In terms of growing their own food, they're pretty resilient. I think for sure if there was an AI-related collapse, which I think is going to happen sooner or later, whether it be in the next 5 to 7 years, which I think it is. Some people say it's in the next couple of years. Others say you've got another 10 years yet before we're going to see a major problem. But I think the writing's already on the wall. Amazon laying off, all these big companies, I'll list them here, all laying off. Why? Because they have access to the technology that's coming and going to be ubiquitous soon, and everybody's going to have access to. Not only that, they're going to have access to advanced forms of the technology, which is going to be in AGI, robotics, and all of those factory jobs which are already being lost here in Thailand. I'll show you another example here from Panasonic. I think that was just last year. These factory jobs are going to move more and more to automation. It's tough on Thailand as well because not only are these factories being closed because of AI and automation, but a lot of the production in China, which can just be done cheaper and brought in here, which is all jobs for Thais. And what do? I think particularly those that are affected are going to be in the cities, actually. You would think that it would be the rural areas that are affected, but actually I think, like a lot of the AI disruption, it's the white-collar stuff. It doesn't happen all at once, but it just slowly creeps. Like it's some factory jobs here, it's some white-collar jobs there, it's your call centers being replaced. It affects somebody else, doesn't affect me, until it comes to affect every one of us, you know. And a lot of my subscribers on the channel, they are preppers. They're preparing in different ways. Not everybody has access to unlimited funds, so you can't just like buy a forest out in the middle of nowhere and build, you know, a full like prepping base mansion or bunker or something like that. Many people are just kind of working with what they've got. I know that's what we're doing here. We're preparing for the worst. It's not something I'm thinking about every single like waking minute, like the collapse is coming, although I do believe the collapse is coming, guys. We're making do with what we have. We didn't purposely come out here to rural Thailand and build our place in order to prep for some kind of collapse in jobs. In fact, when we came out here, I didn't realize that was going to happen. It was only about a year and a half ago when I mentioned on this channel for the first time what I'm doing in terms of, well, finances and with the actual location that we have. I didn't realize it, so now we're just kind of making do with what we've got, and I think that's what everybody's going to have to do around the world, is you're going to have to make do with what you got and where you are. Personally, I think there might be a bit of a mass migration from cities where jobs are lost and companies kind of go more automated to more rural areas where perhaps land is cheaper to come, and maybe there'll be a revival of growing one's own food and producing one's own energy. Who knows? I should mention that it's not all doom and gloom for me. Like, I actually do think that AI and automation eventually will be good for humanity. Ultimately, AI is going to end up in abundance, but not before a massive collapse where probably the poorest people in the world are going to suffer. And it isn't just AI, but the decline in Europe, the desperation of some European governments to try to get as much money as they possibly can from their citizens. I think France are talking about taxing unrealized gains in crypto and Bitcoin. This is a sign of desperation, moving the pension ages up and up and up. Of course, you could argue that people are living longer, but really at 75, should they still be working? Like, are we to say that people should only have 5 years of good retirement? I actually think it's more associated with desperations of governments. Some other things that stood out to me recently is obviously the massive increase in the price of gold. gold is usually a bit of a forerunner, one that anticipates global crisis. And I think that people running to gold, they know what's up, they know what's happening. Also, those that are running to Bitcoin, everybody knows on this channel I'm a Bitcoiner, I'm a Tesla shareholder. I've talked about this for the past couple of years, and the reason I am is because of this very point that I'm making today. I think you've got to kind of choose your assets, choose where you want to be for what is coming, but choose something. Don't choose fiat. Another symptom as well is the widening wealth gap, and I think that's only going to increase. And for the period of this collapse, which could go on many years before recovery and probably an improvement to human life in the long run, I think in the interim that divide is just going to grow. A lot of subscribers to this channel are subscribed not particularly because they find what I'm talk about on this channel very interesting. It's more so that they want to escape where they are and they want to leave the UK. Some of them want to leave other countries in Europe, and they're looking at Thailand as one of the potential destinations that they can escape to. I obviously know this from my comments and different correspondence that I receive from people. Many of them are counting down the days until they're able to make the move, and this channel basically gives a small insight with my interviews with other expats and just kind of day-to-day life in rural Thailand. It gives an example of what this lifestyle would look like. Is it the best lifestyle that you could have in order to survive the coming crash? No, I don't think so. There are probably better countries, especially for foreigners, where one might feel more secure and more kind of stable in terms of visa situation and whatnot. I think a big help for me is going to be upon getting the citizenship, which I'm going to within the next few years I'm hoping to have. That brings a lot more stability in a country as a foreigner. So it's not the perfect setup, but as I said, everyone has to kind of make do with what they've got, with the tools at their disposal. I was talking to a friend the other day as well, I won't say who it was, but they were telling me that they have a job, and they were telling me what that job description was, and they were telling me why they would never lose that job. And when I heard the job description, I'm like, you're going to be one of the first people to lose the job. Obviously, I won't say it is, and I obviously don't want to see the guy lose his job, but I also wanted to tell him, dude, you got to prepare. You have to get a plan, at least have somewhere to go. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are moving back in with family. As I said, I think there'll be a lot of people that come out into the rural areas. I think many Thais will end up coming back home here to the village, and I think that it'll be those that have the knowledge to live off the land and make do with very little that will do okay. I mean, some people have no family to come back to. When you see these layoffs and these business closures, each of these numbers is real people in Thailand losing jobs. Some people will often comment on this channel that it's fear mongering, but I don't think it's about instilling fear in anybody, and I don't think it is hyperbole. I think it genuinely is the situation, and I also think it's becoming more and more apparent with every year that passes and every article that comes out of truly what is happening and what is manifesting in the world at the moment. Now, saying this as well, I don't gleefully want to see a big collapse. I'm not anticipating it. Some preppers I have noticed are kind of waiting for it, maybe because they're ready and they think, they want it to happen. I actually don't want it to happen. The people around me would be suffering from this. All the villagers that you've seen in today's vlog would suffer from this. People are going to suffer from this, and so I don't want to bring on the end. I think there are some tendencies for people to be quite apocalyptic and kind of want that doomsday scenario. For me, not. In fact, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that some of the things that I pointed to in today's little chat end up being completely coincidental and nothing to do with any kind of coming collapse. But I'd also like to know what you guys think. It's been on my mind recently, and I think a lot of people are thinking the same way. Even if you're the most prepared person anyway in Thailand, and I know a number of expats that are far beyond my preparation, they've built military style preparation and bunkers. But even if you are really prepared that way, if a huge collapse comes, there's nothing you can do to really prepare, because there are so many unknown variables of what other people around you are going to do, how food supplies are affected, how the economy reorganizes itself, and the collapse probably doesn't happen overnight. It's like a slow deterioration. There are some people that are out there saying that AI will actually create more jobs, but I really don't see that. If you were to look at all the occupations that humans currently do, if you were to look at all the occupations that humans currently do, for every 10 humans doing jobs, AI can do the job of 10 humans. You meet maybe one supervisor. So I really don't see how there is a future for humans in jobs. I am very interested to hear arguments against it. Everything always seems insane or crazy or like conspiratorial until it happens, right? And then it happens, and then people go, oh shit, it happened. Let's hope it doesn't happen, and hope you've enjoyed our little walk around the village today.